Hello, everybody. I do believe that was a block by Duarte to seal the game, which preseason basketball, whenever it goes into overtime, I'm just like, oh my god. There needs to be a rule in the NBA where it's like, if it is tied at the end of regulation in preseason, just end the game. We're cool with it ending in a tie. It's perfectly fine. That wasn't really could as cool as it was to see Horton Tucker make the game tying shot, and I do think Liddell played pretty well in that overtime. It's like, man, like I'm just so happy that there wasn't another overtime after that. That would have been tragic. I'm glad that that's over. So preseason is officially over, and we're gonna be heading into the regular season now. So we get to start talking about that. What's going on, y'all? Terra Viper Strike MC season. Good to see y'all. Our first score wins the game in OT. I honestly don't even want to see that. I just go home. Everybody just go home. If it's tied at the end of regulation, just go home. We're good. Yeah, I don't want to see anything. I want us to win despite the cast for tryharding. Honestly, I was seeing a lot of the Twitter posts about the Cavs playing their starters at the end of regulation. Well, it's kind of weird because I wanted the Bulls to play their starters, because that's typically what happens. Like, usually the last preseason game, you see the starters play like the entire game. And I was just like, I was shocked that the Bulls didn't do that, but then I was also shocked though that the Cavs left their guys out there. I was like, okay, well, if we took our guys out, then the Cavs should take their guys out. But I actually think the Bulls were kind of the weird ones tonight, but then the Cavs became the weird ones by leaving their guys out there. So yeah, it was a little weird seeing Mitchell and Garland still out there, and with Mobley and Allen, while the Bulls had all their bench guys playing. And yet somehow the Bulls won in overtime. So good job, Bulls, I guess. Yeah, not an important win whatsoever. So yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Couple things before we do get started tonight. I have to unfortunately say that this has been one weird day for me, and it's been one weird night overall for me. I don't know if it was just because it's a full moon and the moon is just looking weird. Unfortunately though, I've had a bunch of issues with the antenna already, but this was the first game where legitimately I could not get the antenna to work. And unfortunately it wasn't just the Chicago Sports Network that wasn't pulling up. I had no signal, like nothing was getting any signal. But it was also like other channels too, like CBS was not exactly looking too good. The only channels that were really working well was ABC and WGN. So I don't know what the hell happened tonight. It's not raining or anything by me. So I don't know, man. I'm a little frustrated about tonight. I've had some medical things today that have not been great, and I'm dealing with a headache at the moment. So I'm still here. I'm still gonna do everything, but I unfortunately I can't do much film breakdown tonight because I was doing things that I don't want to admit on stream to just make sure I was able to watch the game, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I know a lot of other Bulls fans have had to do this. But I think we all know what I'm talking about. Because if you're out in Champaign, for example, you don't have an antenna signal right now for the Bulls' new network. So I'm not happy tonight. This has been one rough night for me, and I want to do my typical things, do my typical content, but legitimately the signal for the Chicago Sports Network did not come to me until overtime started. I don't know what happened, what it was tonight, or why the hell it happened. It had to be tonight, out of all nights, but for some reason I wasn't able to watch the game via my antenna all night, and I'm extremely annoyed by it. I do have some stuff recorded though. I do have some of the game recorded via ways that I'm not going to exactly say explicitly, but we're still gonna do our typical thing tonight and still talk tonight. We just don't have film breakdown, so I'm a little frustrated, or I guess I should say consistent film breakdown of what I usually want to do. So You guys let me know. I let me know if any of you had any issues tonight. I honestly think it was just where I was currently, where I live, I should say. But if this continues, man, I'm gonna have a serious issue with this new network. I have YouTube TV, and obviously YouTube TV is never gonna bring this on. So who knows? We're gonna have to figure out different things, unfortunately. If this is just gonna continue, if there's bad signal, which I hope is not the case. And I don't want to buy a better antenna. All right, but we can go ahead and go over a couple things because I didn't do a pregame show, and we got some things to talk about. And I hope that I'm not too harsh on anybody. Yeah, I watched the game, but also by unspeakable methods here. Yeah. If you do your research, you guys should all know the methods. I do not confirm nor deny if I know these sort of methods. I'm just saying that do your research. And unfortunately, the way I was watching it, it was still like lagging out. And I was really annoyed with it. So, no film tonight, really. I might be able to bring like one play up, but I'm not even gonna try. So yeah. I hate this new network so much. I hate Reinsdorf. I hate whoever made this decision to be like, yeah, let's make a new Chicago sports network that is only available via antenna, and then we're not going to have it available at any streaming services. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks are making all games free available on streaming services. So it just shows you a difference in ownership and actually, people that are good at business and know what they're doing, compared to an idiot like Reinsdorf, who's still here for some stupid reason, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, money, but he needs to be kicked out of the city because he has just been an absolute piece of garbage since he's been here, and I'm not happy with him. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things. So, I got no pregame show, so I wasn't able to talk about some of the news that we got beforehand. But no Josh Giddey tonight, which is a little bit shocking to me. I think that Giddey not playing in this game is a little weird, but I can also maybe tell that. Especially from the last game that he played in preseason, that he might needed the rest. I don't know if he's kind of dealing with his ankle still or whatever injury he had in his foot. But I was a little upset that he wasn't playing tonight. But I always trust the player when it comes to anything. So I'm just gonna trust them at the end of the day when it comes to Giddey. No Dalen Terry either, and I think this is honestly a big miss for Terry tonight because I know that he can't play because he is actually dealing with something, but Terry is right now, he is very deep in the bench, and unfortunately he was not given the chance to go out there and play again due to his injury. So not great to see with Dalen Terry having some problems before the season starts, but hopefully it gets better, and we'll see what type of role Terry has. In the middle of the game, Patrick Williams got injured, and it really sucks to see this because Patrick Williams had probably his best first quarter in a while. He went out there, he hit a three, he crossed over, I think, Allen, and dunked over him off one leg. I was like, oh my god, like, this is the Patrick Williams we've been looking for. He also went out there, and in 20 minutes, he had 6 rebounds. So for the first time, I'm like, wow, this is the Patrick Williams that we're all expecting this year, and he's shown up in preseason for the first time. And hopefully this is a good sign moving forward, where in the regular season, we get this more consistently. And he comes out very early in the third quarter, and we find out that he has a left ankle issue and he will not return. So it just really sucks to see this because he finally looked like he looked really good, and then suddenly he's out. So we'll see about the severity of it. I don't really know anything about that, so you guys have to keep me updated in terms of severity for him. But I checked Casey Johnson's Twitter before I went live, and I didn't see anything. So we'll probably get some notice from Wes Unseld tonight. Yeah, still nothing from Casey Johnson. So we'll probably get some sort of notice from Wes Unseld after when he goes and talks to the media. Then, can you believe the Bulls are playing fast and shooting threes? And are we finally up to date? I wonder why we wouldn't do that for 3 years. Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought they took a few too many mid-range shots tonight. There's some shots that I wasn't really a fan of from the Bulls, but they actually knocked down a decent amount. So I guess I really can't complain too hard. And well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mid-range. I guess you can count this as 9. Not bad, man. We're looking a lot better. Crazy how hard Jordan has carried the Bulls franchise in terms of loyalty. If this was happening in OKC, they wouldn't have a team for more than 5 years. Oh, for sure. Oh my God, yeah, Viper Strike. Yeah. Also, it does help with population. You know, Chicago is humongous. And that obviously is gonna help drive interest. But yeah, man, if this was happening in like any sort of other like kind of like mid-tier city, like in terms of population, and you know, they're not exactly the biggest sports fanatics out there, like, yeah, this happening, like the whatever sports network on only antenna TV, that it just would not fly. But because we are Chicago and they will get enough views from it because we're still Chicago, that this is how it's gonna work. So yeah, man, I'm hella frustrated tonight. I'm so sorry if my energy's not the usual, but yeah, tonight was rough. I'm extremely pissed, so I do apologize for if I sound upset or if I'm not the same tonight. But still, I'm still here, and I'm always willing to talk basketball even if I'm upset and livid. So we'll keep talking. I couldn't see any other team in the league having the benefit of Dow for so long on the Bulls, Lakers, Celtics, and Sixers. Even the 76ers fans, I feel like, would be really harsh on the 76ers if they made this sort of change. But yeah, you're definitely right. And yeah, obviously then the next, like the New York teams for sure. But Brooklyn probably actually would have a little bit harder time. You're right about that, actually. Yeah. It sucks. This is the dumbest thing in the world. So I don't know. If they figure out some sort of deal with Hulu or something, it would help me out a lot. But I don't know if that's even gonna be possible because Chicago Sports Network is stupid, and whoever's running it is the just dumbest person in the world. I'm sorry. And this is me saying this because I do not ever expect to get a job there. And yeah, I'm not qualified for it anyway. So that's that. All right. So that was the negatives. That, you know, no Josh Giddey, no Dalen Terry. But let's move on to some good stuff tonight. So Patrick Williams, I think, actually looked really good tonight. Sucks that he went out early. And then I think that Ayo Dosunmu, him looking like this is a very good sign. Ayo obviously missed the last game, and he missed, I think, also the Bucks game too. Yeah, that's right. So Ayo missed the last 2 games, and it was really good just to see him out there, and he looked really good in the first quarter. He hit a couple threes. He got out in transition, made some layups. So 5 threes tonight from Ayo Dosunmu is fantastic. So it looks like that shoulder is not any sort of issue whatsoever. So I'm very, very happy with that. Ayo looks good, and he looks at least on track to start the season well, and we'll be fine with Ayo. Kobe struggled initially from the field, but he still looked good. I'm not concerned about, you know, he shot like 0 for 5 to start from 3, but I'm not concerned about that. And then Zach looked all right, I think. I'm not concerned about him at all. He did take some shots that I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of, but he put up a bunch of threes early on, and then he was attacking later. So, but that's good to see. So just good balance overall. And shout out to Nikola Vucevic. I've been giving him a lot of crap, you know, on this channel. I think that Vuce has been a player that I'm always constantly targeting, but he did a lot better job today. Still though, there are still some moments with Vuce that I'm just not happy with. But if you do look at some of his made shots, when we go to game charts, this is what I want to see more from Vuce, instead of like we're shooting a bunch of mid-range shots off the pick and fade. I would just much rather just have him shoot all these shots in the paint. So this is better. And then I'm also not the biggest fan of him shooting threes at the moment because he just really can't. He made one tonight, so props to him. But this was better from him tonight in terms of shot selection, and I'm happy with it moving forward. He just needs to find a way just to be still better finisher at the rim because he still struggles at times. But he passed the ball very well tonight, so props to him for really finding his teammates and scoring more inside. So good to see it. The Bulls were also down with their coach tonight, so no Billy Donovan was weird to see. It was odd to see Wes Unseld standing on the sidelines, but as much as people want to like hate on Wes Unseld for his time with Washington, I do trust Wes Unseld at the end of the day. I think he's a pretty good coach, and that Washington team is just never going to be good. So I'm all right with when it comes to Wes Unseld. So the Bulls continued to shoot their threes. They continued to try to get out in transition, and he made sure that Lonzo didn't play too many minutes. So he did his job tonight, and I'm not really that concerned about it. And then speaking on Lonzo Ball, honestly, man, I cannot believe how good he looks. I think we can all agree that Lonzo Ball looks like he's never left. He looks like he's still just his typical self, and we are honestly like Casey Johnson put out the stats, but Lonzo looks like he's just out there and like, he's basically saying like, I never had an injury, man. He looks so good. Only one turnover, which was tonight in his 2 games so far. So he's played about 30 minutes and he's only had 1 turnover. And he has, I think, 21 points, if I'm not mistaken, in about 30 minutes. So yeah, here we go. This is Lonzo's stats in 2 games. He's scored 21 points, which a lot of them are from 3, which makes a lot of sense. That's where he's best at in terms of his scoring. And he's kind of, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That's typical Lonzo too. So, yeah. The biggest thing for me is the fact that his jump shot just looks like it's normal. Doesn't look like there's any sort of off rhythm. He honestly looks like he's gotten better. He's shooting it from deeper. So if he's just going to become an absolute sniper, I mean, that's fantastic. So yeah, that's really good news moving forward for Lonzo. And so it's still going to be a roller coaster of a year. I don't expect this just to be like the new norm for Lonzo, man. But if he's just going to be an absolute sniper and just launching threes like the rest of the team is, then awesome. I'm just so happy he's out there. Yeah. Jalen Smith was my favorite pickup this offseason. Love his game. Jalen Smith has looked... So I will admit with Smith that he has had some moments in preseason that are a little concerning. The biggest thing for me is that he's not hitting his threes. So he did not make a 3 in preseason, which is my only concern, really. Other than that, man, I just love how he moves. There are times where he's out there running down the court, but he doesn't exactly look too fast. But then suddenly he'll break away, right? And we've seen it with Josh Giddey on the pass. We saw it with, I think, Ayo on the pass tonight. Yeah, Smith just moves really, really well, and I hope that Bulls fans come to appreciate him. 5 for 9 tonight and 4 for 6 from the free throw line. So he got 14 points and 9 rebounds in 17 minutes. So that's just being efficient, and I hope this continues with Jalen Smith moving forward. Simple, decent, good defender, quick feet, rim runner, good rebounder, can actually shoot the ball. He only needs to adapt to our system. We are playing nothing like the Pacers lap threat. So I will say that I think right now we're a little bit more similar to the Pacers than obviously last year, right? Or actually I should say a lot more similar, because the Pacers were launching threes left and right. But you are right though that we don't exactly have like the Tyrese Halliburton out there where we can go up and just lob it up to him. So yeah, he's gonna have to adjust. He also is gonna have to adjust to playing a lot more center, because we did see Smith last year where he was paired with Miles Turner out there on the court, so he wasn't always the center on the court, or the biggest man and the rim protector. And so a lot of times he was just kind of the guy out, like the forward out there that was like the stretch 4. So he needs to just kind of adjust to that being like the actual center, and I think he'll be fine. I really don't have any concerns about him moving forward. My only concern is just the shooting, and so I'm hoping that does come around. I'm just hoping that last year wasn't like the weird year where he just shoots so efficiently on like limited attempts. But even if he doesn't shoot like at like 42% or whatever, but his shooting percentage goes down a little bit in terms of 3-point shots, but he's still being efficient inside the 3-point arc, then we're good. We don't have to worry about anything too much. So yeah. Zach Levine 1 turnover in almost 30 minutes is most impressive stat. Yeah, that is actually impressive. Zach's been cutting down the turnovers. I don't exactly remember what the play was when Zach did turnover. Or he had his 1 turnover, which I'm quickly looking through, but I do not see it. It might have been on one of his drives that, of course, I know this was a bad pass. Oh, I don't remember this, actually. So, full pass from Vooch was nutty to Lonzo. That was a nutty pass. Yeah, it was honestly, it was like the roles were flipped, right? It was because usually Lonzo's the one throwing the full court pass, but Vooch got the rebound and knew Lonzo was down there and just threw it. It does seem like Lonzo's still a little hesitant to kind of go up and shoot layups in traffic, which is fine. I'm not concerned about that. That will come around eventually with him, but he's also just never been like that good of an interior shooter. So That's not really part of his game. I'm not concerned about it. The fact that he's 5 for 11 from 3-point range is just fantastic, and I'll just be thrilled if you just can keep shooting it. So, yeah. Come on, everyone knows Lonzo is Steph Curry with the 40-inch vertical. I think when Smith settles with his team, he'll start hitting his threes. I hope so. Yeah. Layups in traffic is also really hard versus the Cavs. It is. Yeah. I mean, the 2 7-footers out there that are both great at blocking shots. Like it is insanely hard to get good looks on the interior. The Bulls, in my opinion, tonight, it was kind of weird watching them because I would honestly say I would like to know the numbers and like how they actually like record pace. But in my opinion, I thought the Bulls were slower tonight. They just seemed to, whenever they got the rebound off a miss, they just weren't really like, they just didn't seem as willing to push the ball. And so I was a little upset with it. I thought they were pushing it pretty well like early, and then they just kind of settled in and they're like, yeah, we're not going to push it as hard. So I'm hoping that's not gonna like just kind of go into the regular season where guys just are not going to push it. But I thought that, especially against a Cavs team where they have some serious size in the interior, you would like to try to push the ball so that they can't set up the rim protectors. But they didn't. The Bulls really didn't seem to do that. But if you're not going to go inside, you got to shoot the threes, and they put 56 threes in 53 minutes of time because of overtime. So Bulls had 43s attempted by the end of the third quarter. So all the main guys that were playing up until the third quarter and then into a little bit into the fourth, they were putting up threes left and right. It looked really good. So no complaints about the 3-point attempts for me tonight. I'm very happy with it. I just think the Bulls could do a little bit better in terms of playing a little bit faster, especially against bigger teams. They gotta try to get the ball moving up the court faster. But you're also missing Josh Giddey tonight, so there's that. Him and Turner were interchangeable in the 4 and 5 when they're in the same lineups. This is not very feasible with Vooch. Very true. Yes, you can't just interchange Vooch and Smith. Vooch cannot play the 4. I know that we saw the Vooch Drummond lineups out there before by Billy Donovan. I never want to see that again, personally. Guys are also getting back on D like crazy. They did not want to give the Bulls free points. I think, honestly, I will give him credit that it seemed like at least one of the big men was always back, but I also thought that the Bulls should have just attacked them still. There were moments where I thought, like, the ball handler was moving, but no one else was moving up with them. So I don't know. It's me being nitpicky, I guess you could say, but I think that was something I was a little upset with. And with the way that I always kind of think of things, it's like you gotta instill things in preseason to make sure that they actually translate. So I'm hoping that nothing goes wrong. All I gotta say is we are finally fun to watch again. Yeah, and maybe it's not as fun for some people because like we don't have like a young prospect or whatever. And sure, DeMar DeRozan, for a lot of people, like they were fans of DeRozan, but this is obviously modern day basketball that we're watching now. This is so much better, at least in my opinion, and I'm happy about it because I have more faith moving forward that we're gonna look better as a whole, as a team. So through 5 preseason games, I'm gonna give the coaching staff some credit. I don't really give this coaching staff a lot of credit when it comes to the offensive end, especially Billy. I think Billy has had some issues in his years, but this to me is a huge step forward. Now it's all about we gotta take this into the season and play like this throughout the entire year. If we can do this, where we go into the season, we're averaging 40 plus threes a game, and our pace is top 10 in the league, then I'm gonna give Billy Donovan and the coaching staff a huge round of applause. Because I've been extremely critical of Billy Donovan since he's been here with the Bulls. I've been extremely critical of him on the offensive end. I think defensively he's a good coach, but offensively he has had some problems, not just here, but also in Oklahoma City. So if he goes out there and like this Bulls team is actually putting up 43s a game and is playing much faster, he deserves the credit. Now, I'm not going to give credit to the front office for anything just yet, because even if the Bulls go and do that, the front office still needs to go out and actually get good players. They got to go build this thing correctly. That's, the way that the team plays is more so on Billy, and he's done it so far, but that's got to continue obviously moving forward. So, Duarte's freaking lockdown. Chris Duarte, when he was with the Pacers, he was a good defender. I think a lot of people don't always remember that. I don't really know what Duarte's going to do this year. I mean, unfortunately, I think at the start of the season, he is just going to be on the bench. But we'll see. He obviously has made the team. If there's any questions about that, I mean, that's all gone. But, like, I'm going to be real. If I had to choose between Talen Horton-Tucker and Chris Duarte to come in and play, I'm picking Talen Horton-Tucker right now. So I don't really know what Duarte's future is, and the Bulls obviously have to make a decision about him after this season. And I don't really expect them to really hold on to him. So we'll see. He's going to have to find a way to get into the rotation. It's going to have to be with someone else not playing as well. And yeah, we'll see how it kind of happens moving forward. But I don't really know. Let's see. Boy, you're new in chat. I don't recognize you at least. Hold on, I'm popping you out. Verboy official, what are you, a Bulls fan? What are you? Are you a Kings fan with that profile picture? What are you? Oh, Cover Boy. Now I see it. I see it now. Cover Boy official. What are you? I like the Bulls because DeRozan was here. Oh, that's an interesting take. Honestly, man, Cover Boy, so first off, should the Bulls have let DeRozan like walk in a sense? I mean, in technical terms, they didn't. They did get something in return for him, but should they have traded him at last year's trade deadline? For sure. I was saying that they should have. But right now, though, I think this Bulls team needs to actually go to the bottom. I really do. We need to keep our pick this year. So if you are still a Bulls fan, even though DeRozan's no longer here, I do apologize. This is probably not going to be a great year. I think this Bulls team is going to be bad. I would have traded Levine. I would have traded all three of the big three or mid three, but you're not going to. No one's taking Levine's contract at the moment. No one's going to take Vooch because he's pretty much useless. So DeRozan's a free agent. It's not like they don't really have much control over that, right? So he obviously is the easiest one to kind of move on from, but he decided to go out and go choose the Kings. So 36 wins is what it's looking like, in my opinion. I disagree. I think we're going to be closer to 30. I don't have faith in this team. And if you're wondering, like, if I'm okay with that, I am. I want this team to lose. I don't want this team to win. I want to keep our pick, and I want to move forward with, at least someone that I have faith in is going to be better for the franchise. Now, I know that I can already kind of tell that you're not the biggest fan of Levine, and that's fine. But I'm here to say that I've been a Zach LaVine supporter, but I've been saying that the Bulls need to get rid of him if they're going to actually go through a full-out rebuild, which I'm hoping that they do, but we'll see. About the what way or another, Zach went up on the Lakers for nothing, salary dumps, and maybe some second-round picks. So you're Box. You and Viper Strike have said this. I'm gonna hope to God that the Bulls front office doesn't exactly do that, because man, that would absolutely suck for the start of a rebuild. I think the start of a rebuild being that your two best players on the previous team and that you got rid of, you got 2 second-round picks in Chris Duarte, and then some seconds and salary fillers for would just be horrible. And I'd be very, very annoyed if that's what happened. But it is Arturas Karnisovas at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm hoping that's not the case personally. TJ's awesome, Commander. I wish there was room for Duarte to just love having tough, quick defenders. Duarte eye on the court at the same time would be fun to watch. I mean, Jason, like, here's my question for you though. Like, do you appreciate like Buzelis and Phillips, because that would be the guys that Duarte would be taking minutes from, right? Like, do you think that they're not good defenders, or do you just appreciate Duarte just to a different level? Because in my opinion, both Buzelis and Phillips have shown to be like pretty solid defenders so far, in this preseason. Especially Phillips. Like, Phillips has really shown me that he's a very versatile defender. At least it's just my opinion. THT shoots way too much? I don't really think so. I think THT's been fine. I mean, think about it. THT's been in a lot of lineups this preseason where he's like the only guy that can dribble, really. So I'm not being too critical. I'm not being too critical of THT at the moment. What's on? Kick me down. I haven't seen you in a bit. Hope you're doing all right. Don't know, Lakers want Levine now that Connect is here. Dude seems special. I won't lie, man. I saw Connect's highlights and everything. I didn't watch the game or anything, but I saw his highlights. But I mean, yeah, he looked nice in that game. I don't know why people are just randomly starting to think though that he's gonna like turn into like this special guy. I guess like the Lakers have had some of these guys where like Austin Reeves just kind of like turns into something, right? But I don't know, man. I don't really have much faith that Connect's gonna like turn into like some like special player this year. Do I think he's gonna be a good shooter? Yeah, but I don't know. I have my more doubts. I do think that he's looked better than maybe some people would have thought. But I think it's a little too early just to be kind of like jumping on like, oh my god, he's gonna be awesome and such. But we'll see. I'm a little more skeptical on Connect still than I think, even though he had that great performance. Yeah. Do I remember the Bulls when they had Joan Rose, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry? Oh man, okay. So you're much old. You are a much older Bulls fan than me personally. Cover boy official, gotcha. So now I know where you're from in terms of Bulls fandom. ESPN Top 100 having Kobe White over Zach LaVine by 20 plus spots was whack, seeing that Zach might be underrated at the moment. I'm gonna be real, that ESPN's rating, or Top 100 list has always been stupid. Nothing ever makes sense. Zach LaVine's not 74th best player in the league, please. I think you can question if he's still an all-star, but to put him suddenly out of the top 50, I think is pretty ridiculous. And the fact that he's below Kobe White makes no sense, because to me, Kobe White is just a less Zach LaVine. they're almost identical in how they play. And Kobe's the worst defender, and Zach's just more efficient on offense. So I don't understand that, honestly. Will the Bulls retire Rose's jersey? I hope they do. I think that if the Reinsdorfs are going to be so stupid to the point where they're not retiring Derrick Rose's jersey, then everyone needs to riot. But Derrick Rose's jersey should absolutely be retired. It is already like formally or not formally retired, but it is already just kind of like, oh yeah, it's retired anyway. Like no one's gonna ever wear number 1 ever again. I just think that if the Reinsdorfs actually knew what they were doing for once, then they should easily retire. It shouldn't even be a hard decision. But I don't know, man. I think that the Reinsdorfs are just so stupid that they're not going to do it. So I hope it's retired. I hope that they prove me wrong. But when have the Reinsdorfs ever proved me wrong, honestly, when it comes to being an actual, just like a decent people and decent owner, and make good decisions? Because they never do. So I'm hoping that they prove me wrong for this one time, and we'll hopefully see we'll see them do the right thing for Rose. So when I see Connect, I see Doug McDermott version 2.0. There I say, I don't know if he's going to be Doug McBuckets. Now, give credit to Doug McDermott. He's going to head into his 11th season, so it's not like it's like a bad career by any means. But I do think that Connect is going to be a little bit better than Doug McBuckets. But I'm just a little more skeptical in terms of like, oh my God, it's the next superstar. Like I don't think we can really say that about anybody in this draft class. This draft class was weird. Like Zakaria Risachet, like I I don't know if he's not guaranteed to be anything. Alex Sarr is a guy that I have a lot more doubts about, but like I don't think anyone's really thinking about him becoming anything special. But you know, someone in the second round, I guess, could become special in this draft class. Like this is like the Malcolm Brogdon wins Rookie of the Year draft class, if I'm being real. So, yeah, we'll see. These people is just a rolled anchor from Casey Johnson. Okay, I appreciate that, Viper Strike. Yeah, let me just quickly go to Casey Johnson here. Say we kept playing a rolled ankle if it were a regular season game. Okay, that's good. I'm hoping that this does not stop him from playing in the season opener, but it's Patrick Williams, and unfortunately we can't trust him. So I not trust him, but can't trust his body. So I'm gonna hope that everything's gonna be fine when it comes to him being ready at the start of the year. So my only, even though he said this like, oh, I would have played still, my only concern is that I have seen players roll their ankle and then still think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and play the rest of this game because the adrenaline gets you through, and then they're out for like a week or something after. So yeah, that's my only concern, honestly. Kobe's a better shot versus Levine. What makes you say that, Cover Boy? Because nothing, in my opinion, says that. There's nothing that you can tell me that Kobe's a better shot. If you tell me that Kobe White has better ball handling, better ability to get to the free throw line, then yes, I agree that Kobe White has that over Zach. But in terms of scoring efficiency, you know, wherever he is on the court, finishing ability, like Levine has Kobe beat in those aspects. And unfortunately, because Kobe is just smaller, Zach is just a better defender because Zach is just a little bit bigger. If you look at the stats from last year, Kobe really tried hard defensively. I don't ever question his effort, but Zach LaVine was actually still a better defender than Kobe White last year. And that was with Zach not even trying. So personally, I have to just disagree with you. There's nothing that really says to me that Kobe's like a better shooter or a better shot maker. Nothing has ever said that, at least up to this point. So Kobe has a better three-point shot over Zach. I mean, if we're gonna really go back into this, like I could always just bring up these stats, and I'm gonna show you that that really has never been the case, and I don't know if it ever will. But because like people just say like, oh, Zach's not that good of a shooter, when that's just not true. So mind you, again, Levine was injured last year, did not play well, did not try hard, right? And he still put up 19.5 points per game. Kobe White had a career season, played a career high in minutes, career high in shots, still averaged less points than Zach LaVine. So yeah, sure, Zach had a year he averaged 35% from three-point range. Kobe averaged 37%. But I mean, just look at Zach's previous years: 37, 37.5, 39, 40, 42, 38. I mean, this guy has been a consistent three-point shooter no matter what. So I unfortunately, I'm just going to straight up disagree with you, and I think the numbers back me up here that Zach LaVine is a better three-point shooter than Kobe White. Now, moving forward here, we'll see, but I don't think it's going to get any better. I think that Kobe's going to be around 37% because he does kind of go through those, you know, hot streaks and cold streaks. That's fine. And I think, you know, even though he goes through that, he should still be taking like 8 threes a game. Zach's just been more consistent. That's just how it's been throughout his entire career. So Reinsdorf is probably fretting about how much money it will cost to create a banner to hang up there. That sounds like Reinsdorf, isn't it? Doesn't it? That really does sound like a Reinsdorf thing, to just be like, yeah, so the banner is the problem. Nothing else about it, like nothing about like our resentment towards the player. We're just gonna say that the banner money is the issue, because everything comes down to the funds at the end of the day, because we got to save enough money for the new ballpark apparently, which is never coming because he's never gonna get the tax dollars for it, and I appreciate that the government says no. Yeah, there's literally nothing left to discuss. The entire goddamn city wants it. Why waste the time? Retired, never discussion over. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Box. It's so stupid that's even discussion right now. The Bulls still discussing the idea of officially retiring Rose number is pretty insane. Yeah. Zach Edey probably will win or top 3 rookie. Don't see him developing as the best long run, just how it starts and how many teams lack a center at the moment to guard his size. So Edey has impressed me, but I'm with you though. Like long term, I don't really know what he's gonna be. That's the reason why I say that while he might win Rookie of the Year, like that I understand why teams decide not to pick Edey. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. So like I'm not like I know that some Bulls fans were also into Zach Edey, and I'm not like losing sleep that he didn't fall to us. But I will say that like he might have like a really solid year because like he can easily probably go out there and give you like 12 and 10 easily. But moving forward, like after that, I do agree with you, Charles, that I don't know what his ceiling is. Because the problem with him is that he has to be more of a Shaq, right, than a Victor Wembanyama, like Giannis, like hybrid center, right? With Wembanyama is he's gonna be one of the best defensive players in the league. He already has the dribbling ability and he's 7'4". Like we know what Wembanyama is gonna be. He's gonna be an absolute like alien out there. With Edey, it has to be more like he has to like really dominate down low. Which is why I say more Shaq, but like I know a lot of people are saying like Yao Ming, right? But Yao Ming, when he did come to the NBA, he was limited in some aspects, right? So I am like just kind of interested to see how it moves forward, because to me, unfortunately, with Edey, like all I kind of see is like a Steven Adams, but maybe not as mobile, but it's just better on offense. So maybe it's kind of that sort of like good middle ground that he can like kind of like work to. But yeah, I will say though, I'm more intrigued by Edey now than I was come draft night. I will say that for sure. Wait, sorry, hold on. I'm looking through a couple things. Caruso was the best defensive player. Him and Drummond. I disagree that Drummond was a good defender. Caruso obviously was the best defensive player on this roster. I'm not disagreeing about that. Reed Shepherd, etc. Obviously the contenders for it from the tiny bit we have seen. I think Reed Shepherd's gonna have issues though in terms of getting minutes. Though that's my only concern with Reed Shepherd. Yeah, we'll see. Kobe has better hair than Zach. He is younger. That's it for now. Yeah, I mean, there will be a point where Zach does decline, but I don't think it's now. And I hope that people understand that. Wait, what did Patrick Williams do to earn 90 million? So, all right, I'm gonna quickly go over this for you, Cover Boy, and then I gotta get back to the game here and cover a couple things. So here's the reason why Patrick Williams got 90 million. I know a lot of people are like freaking out over it, but I do want to remind you or remind everybody that I don't always look at just like, oh, how much million per year or like the salary per year. I look at the percentage of cap, right? So for Patrick Williams just this year, right, he's taking up 12.8% of the cap. Moving forward, though, I mean, we're looking at in the fourth year of his deal, he's only taking up 9.6% of the cap. So we're not even looking at, you know, anything too much, right? When you compare it to, for example, one player that got paid, I spelled the name wrong, but one player that got paid was Jaden McDaniels, right? Jaden McDaniels went on to go on to sign a 5-year, $131 million contract. And if you want to just go ahead and compare numbers, okay, Jaden McDaniels has pretty similar numbers to what Patrick Williams does. So let's just take last year, for example, right? 10 points, 3 rebounds, about assist and a half, a steal, half a block, okay? Now, we talk about Jaden McDaniels being, you know, a incredible defender, and is the reason why the Timberwolves defense is a very good defense. Patrick Williams on the sorry, I brought McDaniels again. Patrick Williams has similar numbers. Same draft class, right? 10 points, 4 rebounds, assist and a half, a steal, a block, right? Now McDaniels has been more available, as you can see, or I guess honestly they played close to the same amount of games, 213 and 284. So McDaniels still more available, but if you're, let's say, if you're Patrick Williams' agent, right, you're saying, well, McDaniels just got paid a decent chunk of money. So if you're gonna go up to the Bulls front office, you're like, hey, so this guy just got paid $131 million. So my client has similar stats. Sure, we're not winning as much, so we'll take a little bit less, but he deserves something similar. And the Bulls thought that it would be a good idea to go ahead and jump the market, because there were some rumors that there were some teams out there willing to pay P. Will close to $20 million a year. I actually thought it was a good idea initially to jump the market, because they got him to a contract that was under $20 million a year. It just then happened where, unfortunately for the Bulls, and so that this is what makes it look bad, Isaac Okoro waited. It was in the same situation as Patrick Williams all offseason. Was a restricted free agent and had to wait. And then he didn't sign his contract until September, and then he only signs for like $10 million a year. And Isaac Okoro has similar stats to Patrick Williams, and he's like the same role for the Cavs, lineup, right? About 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, half a block. It's all similar. And Okoro actually like became a better shooter last year. He shot 39% from 3. So what did Patrick Williams do to get $90 million? He was a forward that has two-way potential, and others around him that are similar got paid a good chunk of money. Therefore, the Bulls gave him a quick contract to jump restricted free agency and try to make sure that they were able to lock him up before another team gave him a bigger contract and the Bulls had to match. So unfortunately, in the end, they got it wrong, because if they waited, then, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but they probably would have gotten him on a similar deal to what Okoro just signed. But it's never a guarantee. I should make that clear. It's never one-to-one, like, oh, this if they just waited, then this would have happened. But it is something just to keep in mind that the front office got this wrong again. So it sucks at the end of the day. Can't block, can't rebound. Like, what the hell? I mean, that's kind of the bet on for P. Will this year, right? Is that he does better with all that. He does more on everything. More offensively, more defensively, more stats, and the box score. Like, that's all it is, right? I look forward to the third game for the Bulls, and everyone's saying that they want him for wrecking the Bulls view. Oh wait, hold on a sec. Hold on, Charles. I'm trying to get back to where you're. Hold on. You're going with Eddie. Oh, Edie there. Got it. Edie's size and body is impressive. He is NBA ready, but like Duncan says, I don't think he's the highest thing. He's pretty close to his limit up. If he proves me wrong, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm just a little bit. I am a little bit concerned with just like with Edie and like moving forward. I got like it made a. Just to be clear, like, it makes perfect sense for the Grizzlies to go and pick him, right? Because they're probably going to be like a pretty decent team. And so if they decide like, oh, okay, if Edie becomes something great, awesome. If not, then like, hey, at least we got like a contributor for this year. So it's kind of like how when the Nuggets picked Michael Porter Jr. If it's just like it's taking a little bit of a risk that others probably weren't willing to take, and I do think that the Grizzlies were the right team. I just always say that like it is just a little hard to be like, oh, we're gonna jump to this conclusion, just like with Connect, right? That it's 5 preseason games and we haven't gotten much else info. I think always like the big true test of like if someone's gonna show you that potential is after like 20 games into the season and everyone has the scouting reports, then what do they do, right? So with Edie, I'm very intrigued by him. Like I will admit that I'm much more intrigued by him than compared to when the draft came around. But I'm just not gonna like jump to be like, oh my god, he might win Rookie of the Year and then become like the next 20 and 15 guy or whatever. Like I'm just gonna settle down on it and just wait. Unfortunately, that's just the way I am with like everybody in this draft class. I was not really high on anybody besides like Ron Holland. and even him has like a lot of concerns for the Pistons. So, yeah, I'm not that hyped really about anybody from this draft. I think Buzelis is looking better and better by the day, because just of his confidence and him playing in the G League. So, yeah, there's good stuff. And hopefully that the rookies do well. Good play, Shepard, for upper middling team. Yeah, my biggest concern with Reed Shepard is the fact that he is undersized, and for a team that is going to be really fighting just to stay in the playoffs with the Houston Rockets, like, where does he fit on that team? Because you have Fred VanVleet, there's your point guard. Jalen Green is supposed to be their shooting guard of the future. And then you have Alperen Şengün, you have Jabari Smith Jr. Like, you have all these guys, right? And I'm not saying that, Shepard's going to play the same position as Şengün and Jabari Smith Jr., but there's just a lot of mouths to feed on that team already. I haven't even mentioned Dillon Brooks yet. So that's my only concern with Reed Shepard. I guess if there is anything, though, it's that Fred VanVleet could decline rapidly this year, because Fred VanVleet's also a small guard, and then Reed Shepard would take that spot. But I think Shepard has good potential to be good. I look at this year, though, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be able to win Rookie of the Year, even though I think that he might be the most complete player in terms of, like, shooting off the dribble, creating your own shot, launching the threes whenever they can. So, yeah, I'm interested. It's be a weird year in terms of Rookie of the Year, honestly. I think we could all kind of agree, like, Buzelis is probably not going to get it because he's going to be coming off the bench this year. And that's fine. I'm not concerned about that. But I just want to see Buzelis play well, and I think he will. You got to remind me of MPJ when he went undrafted after the Magic's pick. Number 6 was happy. Like, yeah, he fell to 7. We picked Wendell Carter Jr. and I was so bummed out. High risk, extremely high reward. Why pass them? Just take the risk. That sounded like Wendell Carter Jr. helped us or kept them. So yeah, I mean, this is one of the things I definitely got wrong. I was on team Wendell Carter Jr. because I did not want to go pick a player that had injury concerns. And like, I was aware that Michael Porter Jr. was like a top 3 pick in the draft if he was healthy. But what I saw, though, after, like, it made me feel better after the Clippers had 2 picks in a row and they passed up on him twice. I was like, oh, I think the Bulls made the right decision. Because for the Bulls, it's like you can't afford to pick a guy that's injured. And I think the doctors were really, really concerned about him. So I'm not going to really blame the front office too much on that one. I think maybe you can more so blame them picking Wendell over maybe picking someone else. But that I'm not going to be too harsh on. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was picked in that same draft. So, Buzelis might make second team, and that's cool given the ops. Yeah, if Buzelis makes the second team, that'd be fantastic. I still question it, though, because there are obviously some rookies that are going to be getting a lot of time this year. But if Buzelis gets second team, that's fantastic. Yeah. Clippers are a cursed organization. They are cursed, man. I don't know what the hell's happening with the Clippers. If I was a Clippers fan, I'm so done with Kawhi Leonard. Like, dear Lord, I don't know what the hell's happening with him. I always go for the player with the higher ceiling and talent. There was no comparison in any alternate reality between MPJ and Wendell Carter Jr. Best case scenario would be something like an Al Horford. No, I agree. I agree with you. Everything, Box. But like I said, though, I was heavily concerned about the injuries, like heavily. Yeah, like this wasn't like a Kyrie Irving like is clearly the number 1 overall pick and like, yeah, he's injured, but like it's fine. Like this was I don't think he's ever gonna play again type injury. That was my biggest concern with MPJ, and I think we have to remember, like, it took him a couple years. Like, can you imagine how many Bulls fans would have been in distress like the first 2 years of MPJ not playing on the court? Like, they would have gone insane. Like, and I also would have gone insane that, like, we spent a 7th overall pick on a guy that can't play, But obviously, the way it turned out, we look stupid. But I would have not been happy if we picked MPJ and he's out for the first 2 years. What's going on, Rob? How you doing? Would you agree that DeRozan will be a Hall of Famer? I think DeRozan will be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. I don't know about first ballot. But he should be a Hall of Famer. He's played consistently, and he, like, in terms of how many points he scored, and the scoring ranks, like, he will be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Let's say B was available with his injuries and all been known from the get-go, and knowing he will be missing 1.5 seasons, you wouldn't pick him. But no, I would pick Embiid for sure. But I think Embiid is just like a different, like, I think of him much more highly of than MPJ, I guess. That's just the way I've always saw of Embiid. Gally wanted to draft the Euro point guard this year. I didn't agree. Euro point guard. You need to help me out. Topic. Yeah, him. Nikola Topic. God, there's so many itches now. Jokic, Vucevic. Yeah, no, Topic. Yeah. I'm not. I wasn't that high on Topic. I won't lie. Yeah. MPG was compared to KD and was consensus #1 pick till he wasn't. I mean, yeah. So was Brandon Ingram. Was also compared to Kevin Durant. Like, I look at those types of players and I'm not. I guess I'm just not as impressed. But I get it. Yeah, I'm probably wrong on this. I'll be real. Like for example, if I knew Victor Wembanyama was gonna be out for 2 seasons, like, I'm still picking him. Like, yeah, I get that. But I guess the way I looked at MPJ was like, he was seriously. I thought he was never gonna play, and I didn't really look at him as like that highly of a player. I just more looked at him as like, he's a pretty nice scorer, but I don't think he's a good defender whatsoever, and I really have concerns about any other parts of his game. But yeah, that's just the way I looked at him, I guess. All right, we've talked enough about other stuff. We got to talk more about this game. So, let me talk a few things about this game. Unfortunately, and I need to go ahead and explain that there is not going to be much videos stuff tonight, because I'm so pissed at Chicago Sports Network and just how this whole antenna thing is working. I don't know what it was tonight. I don't know if it was just like weird things in the sky, or if just like it's a full moon and like things were just off. But I could not get any signal for the Chicago Sports Network tonight. The signal came back when it was in overtime. The entire time though, it was black in terms of signal, and this wasn't just for Chicago Sports Network. It was also from other channels. So it just happened to be where I was tonight. That I could not get any signal from a lot of stations. It was very, very weird. So I'm really annoyed that I can't do any sort of film breakdown tonight. I wanted to show a couple of plays. I'm kind of waiting just to see if a lot of the, like, some of the play-by-play stuff comes in, and maybe I can like kind of use this. Oh, there is some stuff here. Okay, cool. So we're gonna maybe use a little bit of this tonight, and it's just gonna be more scuffed. It's not gonna look as great, but we'll be okay with it. So I don't know. I'm really annoyed with whatever happened tonight, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. But this is one of the reasons why the Chicago Sports Network is stupid, and I hate Reinsdorf for everything. So yeah, I really thought that the Bulls in the first quarter were not doing good throughout the entire game, honestly, until like the end of the third. They were not doing anything good defensively. I thought just Mitchell and Garland just kind of got anywhere off the pick and roll. And we saw Allen was getting a lot of points off of just kind of some feeds. So my concern about the Bulls' perimeter point of attack defense is still consistent right now. I think this team is going to really struggle defensively. And I mean, you don't have a rim protector, and you don't have any perimeter defenders really besides Io. So I don't have much faith with this perimeter defense moving forward. And the Bulls got to figure out some stuff, man, because some of this stuff was just inexcusable with what we saw tonight. Now, here's the unfortunate part of tonight's game, because we talked about Josh Giddey a lot in the previous game, where Giddey had a horrific game, and you just look at the box score and it was pretty bad. But Giddey was just missing shots easily. Like it was like, oh, simple little 8-footer that he absolutely needs to make. He misses it. The defense is basically begging him to shoot it, and he was not able to make the defense pay consistently. And so now Ayo returns tonight, right? Ayo DeSumo returns tonight, and of course he goes on and has one of the best games of the preseason with 19 points, 5 of 7 from 3. You know, obviously better defense than Giddey, and no turnovers. So I unfortunately think it's going to be a topic of discussion throughout the entire year, because I was going to start on the bench, because there's no way that Giddey is not in the starting lineup at the start of the year. But what does Josh Giddey do better than Ayo DeSumo? Like, I think it's a legit question to think about. I think overall, we know that Giddey is a better playmaker, and I shouldn't even say playmaker. I think Giddey has better court vision than Ayo. Ayo obviously has pretty good court vision, but I think Giddey can really see plays maybe a little like a one step ahead type situation, and he can find his guys like in really weird angles. So maybe that's where Giddey is better than Ayo. But after that, though, it's like he's not a better defender, he's not a better shooter, he's not a better finisher by any means, because Ayo is one of the better finishing guards in the league. So he's a better rebounder, and he has better court vision and really good passing skills. So that's not enough, in my opinion, to really warrant like Josh Giddey's like, oh yeah, because he's a better passer. Like, yeah, starting point guard duties. Like, you gotta go out and so score consistently every night. And so because Ayo goes out and does this, and I've said consistently throughout preseason that the lineup where Ayo, Kobe, and Zach were out there as the 3 guards, they just look a lot better. They just seem to kind of roll a lot better together. So I think it's a legitimate question to have right now. Giddey really needs to step up his game here, because as a person that was more neutral about the Giddey trade and not like, oh, it's all doom and gloom, I'm just like, I'm losing faith by the day. And I want to have faith in Giddey. I want to say that it's going to work out, but this is the contract year. Like, this is the year. You have to prove things this year. There's nothing, like, you're not guaranteed any money moving forward. So if Giddey doesn't have it in him to prove it to the front office that he deserves to be have the keys to the car moving forward with this franchise this year, then I don't know if he'll ever prove it any year. And so I know Giddey wasn't playing tonight, so he didn't have like any chance to like respond or show that, oh yeah, I'm pretty good tonight. But this preseason overall has been pretty dreadful for Josh Giddey, and it doesn't give me much hope. I understand that we still talk as if like, oh, this is still just preseason, but with the way that the Bulls are playing now, where they're actually more modern, where they play faster, they shoot more threes, Giddey is just kind of like, he's in this weird spot. I don't really know where he's gonna really like consistently find his impact, besides in transition. And even in transition so far in preseason, he doesn't seem to consistently finish plays in transition. So yeah, this is just gonna be a talking point throughout the entire year. Unfortunately, Josh Giddey's under a microscope, and I think it's warranted, because he basically put a microscope on himself. And if he really wants to get paid, which the Bulls are not going to come to some sort of extension agreement before the 21st here, but if he does want to get paid, then he's going to be under a microscope. So when others in the same position perform better than him, it really puts like this weird spotlight on him. So I'm just pointing this out now, because this is gonna probably be like a major talking point of every stream moving forward. I don't want to do it, but we got to do it. So we'll see. I'm interested. And who's gonna actually come out on top here? Chemtrails. Okay, that's interesting. Solar flares. Did those seconds like get back to this year now? Look. So were there solar flares actually, Rob? Hold on, I just saw that. Like, is that actually a thing? Was that happening tonight? Because that would actually explain a lot for why I didn't have any good signal tonight. I tried looking into it. I didn't get an answer, but I guess if there's solar flares, that does help me. CHGN, Chicago Sports Network had a few times where I thought I lost signal tonight. Yeah, you probably did. It wasn't good signal tonight. Yeah. Need Raymond per defenders, 2 swing offenses, late picks. I would use to hope for it from. I mean, yeah, it's gonna have to come from somewhere else. It's not draft is fine, but you know, Giddey's going to feel really timid by a ball on the bench, looking great in his minutes. He will, but the one thing that Giddey has going for him is that Ball's not playing in back to back. Yeah, Ball's not playing in back to backs. So there's going to be games where Ball's not available. So Giddey's going to have some sort of security with that. Which missed a lot of bunnies in the first 2 he did. Passing and rebounding, yeah. They need to have proper audible plays, draw up for sideline and balance with more movement, as that's the way otherwise. I think that they're gonna show it more in regular season, because this seemed like a preseason where they're just trying to get some of the newer players to kind of get more acclimated to the new system, and obviously it's a whole new system. So I'm not concerned about the sideline out of bounds plays it being like nothing special. I think that's gonna come, especially if you have Josh Giddey inbounding, right? So yeah, the key is when defenses break up our offensive sets, they've got to come up with a better elbows, like you said. Yeah. Tries to sink shot, but it's inaccurate. Oh, sorry, no, I missed your first message. I like some of Patrick's finds and passes, but his passing of the ball isn't there. He tries to slingshot it, but it's inaccurate, at least the weird catches. Ah, I see. Yeah, I think Patrick just needs to slow down with some of his passes. Like, he's like really trying to whip it. If he just slows down and kind of gets everything kind of set, then I think he'll be fine. Yeah. I think Patrick looked good tonight. It's just then he went and rolled his ankle, which is just like, you gotta be kidding me. Are you worried that Giddey is the kind who will read public comments and shy away, get worse from over and over as a wide audience supporting the team? Others get off getting off it. Giddey won't. I mean, then Giddey has to figure out a way to not have that affect him. I mean, if like go ask a lot of the pros right now, like they may hear some of the noise, but that's not gonna let them affect them. Like, I know Giddey had that like one post of like, you know, the Bulls posted like happy birthday, and then like all the comments were like really crappy towards him, and then Giddey made a mention about it. Like that's something where that's gonna just come with the job. Like, you gotta you know, figure out a way to block that noise. I mean, if just the fans are enough to get to Giddey, then like what's gonna happen when Joe Coley makes an absolute big article on why he doesn't think Josh Giddey's a good player? Like, that's something that these NBA players gotta figure out quickly, and when they're young, is you can't listen to the outside. So someone like me that's critical of him, like, you can't listen to me. I'm not expecting him to listen to me. I'm just here to break down what he's done good and bad. But there are people that are like more so connected to the Bulls players that see them almost every single day, like Joe Coley, that will absolutely go out and destroy you publicly. And so for Giddey, like, I'm aware that if he's gonna hear this criticism, but it's on him to figure out a way to block out that criticism from actually affecting him. Like, listening is one thing and like trying to use it to get better, but if it's gonna really affect him to the point where he's gonna like get down from it, or he's gonna fold, like, I mean, I don't know what to tell him besides like, welcome to the NBA in today's modern day age. Like, I feel like everyone's susceptible to it. Like, everyone's susceptible to criticism now. Like, I'm a person that has, I mean, look at me, for example. Like, I'm allowed to go criticize him now on a YouTube platform and also on Twitter. And obviously I've never played an NBA game or coached an NBA game. But you know, I do, obviously I watch and I do break down stuff. So, you know, I hope that Giddey's gonna have to figure this out. I'm gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt that he will figure it out in terms of blocking out the noise from affecting him. But if we start seeing where he's not finding a way to block it out consistently, then I'm gonna have concerns, because I mean, he himself decided to put himself under a microscope. Like, I want to make that clear. He himself decided, I don't want to play on the bench. I don't want to play for Oklahoma City anymore. He himself said, I want the keys to the car. okay, you want the keys to the car, then you also know that you're gonna get the spotlight. Like, that's just how it goes. You don't just get to be like, I want to be the star of the team and say that I don't want to do the media. Like, or I don't want, like, media can't criticize me anymore. That's not allowed. Like, you can't just say that. So I hope it's not gonna affect him. But oh man, if it's affecting him, then we have some serious issues moving forward. Like, we're gonna have some serious problems, because this is one of the hardest cities to play in. I mean, just think of all the crap that Derrick Rose had to take, including from me. I was critical of Rose when he got back, which I probably shouldn't have been. But I mean, any quarterback that plays for the Bears in this city, they're under a humongous spotlight. So if you're gonna be the point guard of the Chicago Bulls, you're gonna have to take it. Like, that's not an option. You got to go out and actually take it. And so I'm hoping Giddey's ready for the big city. Teammates, as a point guard, it's probably most important to get consistency with the players to be playing with often. That, I mean, you bring up a good point, Rob, that obviously Io's played with a lot of these guys for a while and Giddey hasn't. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be here saying that we need to bench Josh Giddey off of, you know, the start of the year. But if we are 25 games in and we're having a guard shoot below 40% and can't hit threes, and he's not really providing much else on the court, then I'm going to start calling for some things, you know. I obviously want the best for the players on the team, but I think by the end of the season it'll revert back to Kobe and Io backcourt. I'm concerned that's probably going to be that way too, and that's not going to give me any sort of confidence moving forward with this team, because I think, unfortunately, for us, which I say unfortunately for a reason, but the future of this team is dependent on if the Bulls keep the pick, but also if Josh Giddey becomes what we think Josh Giddey can become. So a lot on his shoulders, right? But that's what Giddey wanted. That's what Giddey said he wanted. He wanted this. Like, we can't just say, like, oh, suddenly he's thrusting into this position and wasn't exactly ready for the spotlight. No, he went to Sam Presti and said, trade me because I don't want to be on the bench. I want to be the guy with the ball in my hands. So I'm going to go treat you like you're the star then. Like, that's what you asked for. I just don't see Giddey finding success in this league. He has Ben Simmons with better core vision and no defense or athletic ability. Oh, boy. That honestly, the way that you just said that, Box, that makes me really concerned, because that actually sounds right. He's a lot like Ben, yeah, but he's more open to, I'm gonna guess that means shooting threes. But also, if a player was pre-injury, Ben, I would have take that player for sure. Anyone saying no to that cap anything is better than playing for the 76ers. Well, I mean, yeah, I think with Ben, you obviously take the risk because, like, as Box is saying below, like, he's insanely athletic. So, like, you even if, like, with Ben, like, he has all these, like, shooting issues, it's like you're like, okay, well, he may have all these shooting issues, but we know with Ben that he's gonna be a very good defender and he's gonna be insanely athletic. So I don't have to worry about his finishing, because that's the problem with Giddey right now, is that I have to worry about his finishing ability at the moment, and his athleticism is not getting any better. And he already lacks it. So that's the reason why we're all, like, extremely concerned, because, you know, Ben Simmons can finish at the rim with the best of them. Josh Giddey can't consistently finish at the rim at the moment. That's the concern. But at least Giddey has been showing that he can kind of take outside shots, but it's not good at the moment. So, yeah. Same way Patrick had pressure to perform at a high level because his team was trying to win. That's what Giddey was going through on OKC. So maybe we both have less pressure here now. But I mean, that's the hope. But at the same time, though, that he has a ticking clock on him, though, Rob. Like, if you want a scenario where there's actually gonna be a lot of pressure on you, it's here, because one, it's Chicago, but two, you're the one that asked for the pressure. You're the one that is on the last year of your contract, so it's not like he has time to kind of figure this out. Like, he has to kind of figure it out. Like, there isn't time. He is up for a new contract. He was just traded to the team that says that they trust him to be the guy of the future. So it's not like he has a bunch of time here. Yeah. I just want to put this out there because, well, I don't want to just be bashing Giddey and, like, praising the guys that do play well. But, I mean, Io, unfortunately, is playing the same position as him. And I think we look at Io and we know what we're going to get from him, and especially after what we saw from last year with his consistency when he's in the starting lineup, like I don't know, it's just like it's just something to think about. How are we destroying Australia? Comes Australia players now with the jingles. I think Giddy and Ingles play very differently, but in terms of, I guess, athleticism inside, I will say that they are pretty similar. Ingles is actually a better ball handler than people give him credit for. So there's that. Yeah. So I don't want. I'm gonna get off this Giddy like subject now, but I will say it's gonna be something that we're gonna bring up consistently here on the stream because it is something just to look at. I'm not gonna try to like make a decision after 10 games because I do want to give him the chance. But if we are like 40 games in and I feel like there's a serious problem, and like the numbers for Giddy aren't looking great, and you know, he claims to have worked on his shooting, but we'll see. If that's not really going anywhere, then we're gonna have a major talk on this channel about the future of this team, because there's some question marks suddenly, or humongous question marks, I should say, bigger question marks. Giddy over Io has one extra season. He is much younger for a long-term Bulls team. They'll have years of sucking. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping that this doesn't happen. We're talking about Josh Giddy and like he's a fringe starter at the end of the year. That will make me very upset because not only is this like Giddy didn't like perform well, but then it's like we just keep going back to the trade where Caruso for Giddy was just not a smart decision. Or I'm talking just straight up. Like if the Bulls got picks out of it, I'm not really complaining. But because we didn't get picks for it, it was just a straight 1-for-1 swap, and I hate repeating it, but here we are. So yeah. Okay. Couple other things that I want to say that I thought the Bulls did a pretty good job at. So, the lineup out there to end the third quarter, where the Bulls went on like an 8-0 run before I think Mobley hit the 3. To kind of stop the run, but the lineup out there, it was Io, Kobe, Lonzo, Buzelis, and Smith. So those 5 guys out there had like a nice little run to kind of end the third quarter, and I will say I like that lineup a lot. I've always kind of said that, you know, Lonzo's going to come back more of a wing, and he was more of like a wing in that lineup, and that lineup it makes sense why defensively they were able to tighten the screws, because you have both Io out there with Lonzo, and Lonzo seems to be like the best help defender ever suddenly as he's returned. So having those 2 guys out there to really affect the perimeter, and then having Buzelis and Smith on the interior, just having more athleticism on the interior, it actually gave the Cavs some serious issues. So I'm like intrigued about that lineup moving forward, because I think that lineup can really run with Jalen Smith at center. We kind of saw it in that little burst where Io was able to give that Jalen Smith a dunk in the fast break, and I'm hoping that we see some mix and matching of that sort of lineup moving forward. Obviously, with Lonzo's kind of future up in question with the Bulls, like maybe it's not Lonzo in like the a year down the road, but that sort of lineup, because of they're the younger guys, and one's a rookie, and then Smith's under a new contract. That's a lineup that maybe we can see in the future years of this Bulls squad. So that was a good lineup out there. I like to see that from Wes Unseld for kind of trying that lineup out, because we haven't been able to see that lineup obviously because not everyone's been healthy. So that lineup was good, and I think that overall with the rotations, from what I kind of got an idea of, and unfortunately again because Giddy was out, it's hard to kind of measure everything, but so we're still seeing that Kobe is one of the first guys coming out, along with probably Patrick Williams. We're seeing that Phillips was the first guy off the bench, along with Lonzo tonight. when Giddey is available, then I expect Io to be the first guy with Phillips off the bench, or maybe it's gonna be Io and Lonzo. Honestly, who knows? But it does seem like the Bulls are trying to really stagger Levine and Kobe's minutes because they are similar players. So you stagger those guys as much as possible, and I think that it's a good recipe to make sure that everyone gets their minutes played, and we see the shooting is always out there. So you always have like that legit shooting threat out there no matter what. And you know, certain lineups gonna have more defense, and certain lineups just have more shooting. So hopefully Billy's gonna be able to kind of match things up pretty well, and get the chemistry working with some younger guys. My only then concern though right now is that it does seem like Patrick Williams is still kind of like the fifth starter, where or more so like the starter where his minutes seem to get sacrificed a lot. He did play 20 though, and he did come out early in the third. So I think tonight he got his minutes, but under Billy, it does seem like he is kind of getting a little shortcut, a little like, especially in the second quarter, because he comes out early in the first, and then he doesn't really check back in until early in the second, and then he'll come out again. So I'm hoping that because there is a lot of guys to play, that there's a better balance, and he will get to like a rhythm going moving forward. So yeah. Io Shore is being iced out, so I don't know if Io plays all 82 games too. The Bulls could play medical staff games with the players to try to keep the pick. That could happen honestly. But I'm gonna trust Io to be healthy because Io's been healthy his entire career. I mean, we're looking at 77, 80, and 76 games. Now he, you know, a lot of these games are off the bench. I mean, 128 started out of the 233, so there is that. But I still think though he should be healthy. Like the one thing that Io has always shown no matter what is that he's healthy. So I'm not concerned about Io's health. I think he'll be available. My only concern is just that he's getting enough minutes, right? Because in my opinion, he needs to at least get like 28 minutes a night if possible. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe it's closer to 26 like his sophomore season where he got 26, but he also played worse that year. So yeah, it's going to be a weird balance of minutes. And this is still us talking with the Lonzo Ball minutes restriction, right? And whenever that does come off, which I don't know when it will, but Lonzo's looking a lot better than I thought he would. So that could come off at any point, honestly. But Lonzo's got to get or Io's got to get his minutes. And then if Lonzo's suddenly like fully healthy again, then he's also got to get his minutes. So yeah, it is suddenly a major logjam if Lonzo is actually back to being fully healthy. So keep it in mind. Alonzo, Io, Zach, Buzelis, Joe Smith lineup is going to be fun. Yeah, I want to see that lineup too. I know that we're kind of missing Kobe in that lineup for more speed, right? But yeah, that's the lineup I do want to see because we also haven't seen that one out there. At least if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Still trying to get used to playing with Smith too. I think it's more so about Smith trying to get used to with others, but yeah, I feel good about Smith moving forward. I'm really comfortable with him. Finally makes his appearance like he knew all along. Booz might become the best defender on the team in the season with how weak most of the team is there. No, I agree, Charles. I do agree. I've said it that like I think he is already showing that his rim protection, his blocking ability is great. He's impressed me more so about what he's done on the perimeter so far in preseason. Like we saw him like have some possessions against Donovan Mitchell in the first preseason game where he guarded them well. So yeah, it's not gonna be this year obviously where he's gonna become the best defender because I do think that Io is obviously really good still, and then if Patrick Williams does try, he is pretty good, and he's healthy, I should say. But yeah, if Buzelis, honestly, I've kind of already, I do have like a prediction in my head already. I'll spoil it on here that I think Buzelis, if he gets enough minutes, which again is a pretty big question mark at the moment, but if Buzelis got like at least 20 minutes a night, in my opinion, which I know that's hard, maybe it's more so 16, but if he got those minutes, I honestly think he'd lead the team in block shots this year. I'm not kidding. I think that guy. I think Buzelis is like that good of a rim protector already. So I think his style of defense, while not as high, could be a bit less like in a blocker that could do and I could do PER. I don't know what PER means, but I mean I think he meant pick and roll and switching. But yeah, I agree. I completely agree. That is like exactly what I'm thinking with Buzelis. Like he is most important where he is down in the rim protecting spot, in my opinion. But he does have the ability, if there is a pick and roll, to switch out to the guard perimeter. Oh, got it. So yeah, I agree. I really do agree that's actually a really good comp for Buzelis moving forward. He does need to obviously get bigger and still kind of grow into his body. But yeah, I think that's what we're gonna kind of look at now. I want to make it clear. I don't think Buzelis is gonna be a 5. I think he's gonna be a 4. So he's not going to be like a Claxton where he's always at the he's like always the center in the offense or in the center on the defense. But I do think he will provide that versatility for his with his length and his height at the 4. So he's only playing the 4. He will, I think, provide it still. I think Mata's feet movement on defense. It is already looking really good. He moves well already, and that's something that I think we can maybe say like something like Patrick Williams did not have, like kind of initially. Like we saw it with P-Will, but he was kind of maybe like a step behind on like reaction times or just learning how to move well and move his feet well. And now with Buzelis, it just seems like with the G League experience and him understanding how fast things go, like he seems to just he's already kind of jumped at like, yeah, so this is how fast we play. Whether it's him running with the guys, or playing defense, he seems to understand the tempo of like the swing on the offense or for the defensive end for him. He seems ready, and I'm really happy with it. If he can just, there is always the concern with Buzelis for me is like, if he does like get add more weight, does he lose some of his like kind of light feet or his mobility? But I think with just the way that he looks right now, if he just gets bigger, hopefully his length will like make sure that that's not going to happen. So I'm excited with him moving forward in terms of versatility. All right. I will say, first off, everybody that has checked in on the stream tonight, I just want to say thank you so much. We've had over 100 different viewers in on the stream tonight, so I just want to say thank you so much for supporting and checking in on me, checking in on the stream and the content. So it means a lot that we have a lot of people checking in for the post-game streams. It's been a lot of fun for me. I hope it's enjoyable for all of you that are watching. So appreciate it. If you have not already, please hit the like button on the stream. Helps me out a ton. And continue coming back if you like Bulls content. And we're going to continue doing it. I am going to be ending stream soon, though. I did say I started stream not in the greatest mood. I am also dealing with a headache. This has been a horrible day. It's been just a ridiculous day in general, and then the bad signal from the antenna was just it just completed a horrible day for me. And then I can't go and do film breakdown tonight because I didn't have the antenna signal. So well, I did record some of the game via ways that shall not be explained on stream. But it's just bad looking. I'm just not going to bring it up. But before we do go, I do want to go ahead and talk about the first game of the season for the Bulls, as we are officially through the preseason, and we are going to be heading towards New Orleans to start the year off. Okay. So when it comes to this is going to be an interesting year because I do think that the Bulls are going to be pretty bad. I honestly would like the Bulls to lose a lot because I do want to keep the pick this year. I don't need us to be the worst team in the league, and I don't think we will. I think Washington will have that spot taken care of, but I do think that we need to try to do our best to keep the top 10 pick. So it ideally would be good if we would lose some games here. Now, it's not obviously in human nature to lose. Excuse me. So this year, to me, when it comes to winning this year, it's going to be all about development with the players. Do I see players developing in the right ways? Do I see the Bulls playing correctly to set in the culture that this is how we play now in Chicago? This is modern day basketball. I already know that if any of like the people that really grew up watching 90s basketball and haven't like modified their ideas of the game are watching preseason, they're probably losing their minds already, right? They're probably like, oh my gosh, there's so many threes being taken. If we've done that to the people that I think are unwilling to change their mindset, then I've already said that this preseason is a win. Because that's awesome just to see that the Bulls are finally heading in the right direction. But while the Bulls, in my opinion, play the correct way in preseason, it's about playing the correct way also in the regular season. So they got to go out and play right in the regular season. And that, to me, will be the win. So it's not going to be all about points and, you know, if we actually got the W in the box score at the end of the day, in my opinion, for this year. It's going to be about, did Ayo Dosunmu take another leap this year? Did Kobe White take another leap? Did Buzelis show that he's going to be an effective rookie through 82 games? Or effective player through 82 games? Did Patrick Williams take a serious leap? And then obviously the big question of it all is, does Josh Giddey show that he can be or own the keys to the engine for the team moving forward? So that's gonna be kind of how I'm basing my year of like, did the Bulls like win or did the Bulls do things right this year? Because I do think that we are gonna be losing a lot of games. But either way, though, we're gonna still go ahead and preview this matchup. Bulls versus Pelicans in New Orleans, so the Bulls are not going to be at home at the United Center. This is going to be an interesting kind of game to watch because the Pelicans, I don't exactly know where they're going at the moment. We know that they're trying to win, but they don't have a center at the moment. Herb Jones is apparently playing center, and I know immediately Stacey King's going to be calling for a Vooch post-up all night on Wednesday, so I'm not going to be looking forward to that because I don't want to hear that anymore. Zion is obviously still there. And if Zion's playing, I think the Pelicans should be favored to win this game because they're actually trying to win. But there's also rumors about them not wanting to have Brandon Ingram on the team anymore. So I think that's something just to keep in mind. And we'll see what type of Pelicans team shows up. I mean, it is a Willie Green coach team, so I'm going to trust them. But this Pelicans team has been kind of inconsistent throughout the years. And obviously Zion's health has been inconsistent, which is a big key factor to it all. So we'll see how this one goes. I expect more of a high-scoring game in this one, especially with the way the Bulls are playing and how the Pelicans have played in the past where they don't play defense. So high-scoring, probable game, you know, that's kind of my guess. And we're going to see probably a lot of dunks by both teams. I don't know who exactly, but I think we can make a good guess on who's going to be dunking on both sides of the ball. And hopefully it's going to be a fast and just entertaining game at the end of the day because the Bulls are playing a lot better and just more, just playing more efficient. So we will see. He by Andre Kirilenko type defender, I'd be more than happy. Oh, Buzelis, yeah, I'd be also very happy. I think he has a higher ceiling than that. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we'll see about Buzelis. Two teams on a center, yeah. How can a guy as athletic and strong as Zion finish a season averaging almost 6 rebounds? Goddamn. Yeah. So Zion is the weirdest player because obviously he is humongous, but he's not that tall. But he can jump out of a building, even though he's pretty big. It is kind of shocking that he only had 6 rebounds last year on average, and he played most of the year, right? So Zion this year is going to have to figure out a way to kind of maybe take his game to the next level because, I mean, I know we've been talking about injuries a lot with him, but like it's also kind of getting to the point now where he's not Giannis, right? Like, because him and Giannis have very similar games where they just kind of attack the basket at will. They get all the foul calls, and they don't shoot threes, right? Now, Zion even takes less threes than Giannis does. But we know with Giannis is just this absolute freak defender that can guard the perimeter players and guard the center. Like, he's a 1 through 5 defender. And Giannis also is a better rebounder. So Zion, I think, is going to have to kind of figure out a way to kind of get more towards what Giannis does consistently. And less away of what he's done so far in his career. Don't know what that means. I don't know what that means at all. I'm just saying that I think for him to kind of be like that next step, like that's gonna be what it has to take. So I'm interested to see. For the next episode, if you can maybe talk about what Kobe and Io, their next contracts may look like. A lot of fans worried we can't afford to keep both. Oh, really? I'm actually shocked a lot of fans think that. I think there's, I think the talk about maybe trading Kobe just for value purposes, I think is like a legitimate conversation to have. But when talking about Kobe, like if the Bulls are trying to keep both of them moving forward, I mean, first and foremost, I think Io's staying. I don't see a way that Io leaves. The Bulls are gonna be willing to pay him, and he's not I don't think he'll be as expensive if Kobe takes another leap. But if Kobe doesn't take another leap, then I don't think there should be any worry whatsoever. The Bulls are going to be perfectly fine, especially if they do get rid of Zach's contract. But even if they don't get rid of Zach's contract, they're going to be fine. Because Lonzo's contract's coming off the books. And obviously they have to go and try to figure out Josh Giddey's new contract. But that's the only one that they have to really worry about, right? No one else really matters. So, yeah, like Giddey is going to be a hefty payroll, right? But then we're not talking about a new contract for these guys until this year. And then Vooch is off the books. So, I don't know. I'll go over it, Rob, and I might even make a video on that because I'm kind of shocked because here's the thing. I know you're not wrong because I know I have seen some people talk about this. I just haven't brought it up because it's not the time to discuss this yet, in my opinion. But if people are suddenly really talking about it, and I guess technically they are extension eligible next year, then yeah, I'll address it for sure. Maybe a great game to bench Vooch instead and as a small ball height. Yeah, honestly, let's just all go small. You know, Patrick Williams at the 5 if he's healthy. Who's Pelicans center? Herb Jones? Yeah, it is Herb Jones at the moment. Or I'm just gonna say it's more Zion is gonna be the center, but they say Herb Jones. Yeah. Bulls not great at threes against a team without paint protection. Yeah. Yeah. Man, Charles Barkley would eat him alive. Oh my god, bro. I think Chuck has already been on Zion. Like I think Chuck has already pretty much like gotten on Zion, like just, you know, on NBA or inside the NBA. If Barkley was playing now against Zion, he would absolutely just be going after him, saying that like we may be similar body style, but I am this much better of a player than you. Barkley would just be going at Zion if Barkley was still playing right now. No, it's not a proper reason, but pure build-wise, if only Lofton was there for one game match of the see bodies clash, not going to win. But pure watching it, that would be actually interesting to see. I won't lie. See Lofton against Zion, yeah. Pretty sure Charles was smaller. He was smaller. Charles was smaller, yeah. Hot take: Matas became Giannis in defense guarding 1 through 5. Not yet, in my opinion, but I think Matas could get there. Wonder where about yeah. Yeah, they were specifically talking about how the Bulls won't be able to keep both of them. Lol. Unless I'm missing something, I don't know how the hell that's possible. Like, I mean, sure, maybe the Bulls go out and make some more moves, but if we're just talking about the current players right now, and then just thinking as if we get new draft prospects, like, you know, higher up in the draft, like, the thought process, there are people telling me, like, I want to hear what they really have to say, because there are people that make some bold claims, like, for example, yesterday when Bloody Horn said that the only way that Zach LaVine can get to the Kings is if DeMar DeRozan's in the trade. It's like, that's not true. Like, I don't know where that came from, but like, I don't know where this claim is coming from without just actually just taking a look at this. Like, if you just took the time to look at this, like, I don't care how much Josh Giddey gets paid, which we know it's not going to be, at least right now, it's not going to be like the 45 million mark, like how Zach's getting paid, right? So that, with all that being said, like, this is the year they have to get paid, and we're looking at this year that maybe Zach's still here, but I seriously doubt it. P. Will's on the books, Jalen Smith's on the books. You have Buzelis and Phillips, but Vooch is gone, and so is Lonzo. And obviously you don't have Josh Giddey's money, but like that's it. Assuming then obviously you have draft, you know, future draft prospects, but I guess the only thing that could change is if you make a serious trade, or you go out and sign some big free agents, which I don't expect the Bulls to do because they've never done that in their history. So that's just a weird shocker to me that there's so many Bulls fans that are like saying that they've done the numbers and are like, oh, we can't afford to keep them. Like, I don't think that's the case. Yeah. The salaries can't become... Wait, sorry. Wait till midway. So if you're wondering if the Bulls can like give Kobe or Io like new contracts right now, the answer is no, they cannot. They actually, I'd have to double check that. Actually, they might be extension eligible now. Hold on. I'll have to look into it. But what you're saying though is like, let's say they get to this year, right? Let's say they get to this year, let's say they get to their final year of their contract. You're right that the most that they can offer both Kobe and Io is going to be limited because the extension rules are based off what they got previous years, right? So for Io, for example, I don't have the full numbers in front of me, but he's only going to be offered I think it's like 175% of his previous contract. So $7.5 million, it's like 175% of that is like your first year salary, right? So that's why Bulls fans are maybe saying like, oh, we can't afford him because we can't give him the extension. Well, my argument to them is just saying, first off, well, that's not saying we can't afford him, but secondly, that does not mean that we cannot re-sign him. He'll probably go into free agency. I have no doubt in my mind. Honestly, it's probably a good business decision by both of them to go into unrestricted free agency, but I don't expect them to go and suddenly like we're talking like they take up 30% of the cap or something. That's not gonna happen. If the Bulls are smart, I should say. I should also put that caveat. If the Bulls are also smart, I think they get him re-signed pretty easily. For people at Zion, it's gonna be fun. Not for us or Pat. Oh yeah, I know. Zion has killed Patrick Williams. Or actually, Patrick said he's had a few good games against Zion. I'll give Patrick that. I remember some of those games. Giddey's worth a May 20 mil per year contract. I said right now, if Josh Giddey would accept the Patrick Williams contract, I would do it right now. But I'm not going past 20. Yeah. I maybe at the end of the season, Giddey's worth like 25 mil per year. But right now, man, I don't have faith in that either. I don't expect us to tank. They're just pivoting. Don't expect to tank or try to get the 10th pick. I mean, yeah. I also I'm with you, Box. Like, I'm hoping that's not the case. I want to tank, but if that's not the case, even being said, like, they should still have the money to afford these guys. Like, I'm looking at this like I don't even think there should be any worry because yes, we have to worry about the tax instead of the aprons because we're a rise of an organization. But I mean, at least just the quick numbers in my head, like we wouldn't be close to the tax where it's like a threat. But maybe someone has to show me something different where it's like, oh, like no, there's a chance where we'd have to go into the luxury tax. But like, I mean, my biggest point though is that they're up for a new contract for this year, right? In 2026, 27. Like, Vooch is gone, Lonzo's gone, Zach should be gone. Like, that's so much money. They should easily be able to afford this. If the Bulls, okay, so for you guys talking about like if like let's say we don't tank and like they actually try to win, if the Bulls actually go out and win 45 games this year, then like yeah, I'm fine then. Like I'm fine that like we didn't tank. I just don't think we're gonna go do that though. Like I honestly don't think that we're gonna go out and win 45 games this year. Because if we actually go out and win 45 games this year, like the Bulls, like it would at least give me some hope that like okay, you can keep some of these guys and you know, maybe you could get Vooch's contract off the books and then who knows, they can reset. And yeah, Zach's still here and then you just keep Zach. But I think a lot of people want Zach gone. I think the team wants Zach gone, and Zach wants to be gone. So I just think that with the way that the roster is constructed, that we're not going to be good. But if they actually go out and win 45 games, then yeah, I'll shut my mouth and say like, yeah, I'm fine with that. We didn't keep the pick. But you know, go tell me that's going to happen, because I don't have faith that's going to happen. What I am most scared of is what people have said earlier. It's like a 36-win team, we're fighting for the play-in. That's not ideal. And then we somehow win the play-in and get in as the 8th seed as a 36-win team. That would be the worst thing in the world. 25-28 mil is going to be the lowest point, I guess, if people get 18 for Kobe. I honestly think Kobe's like, yeah, I'd say with Kobe, it's going to probably be around there as like, honestly, I think assuming that he does become an all-star for Kobe, it's going to probably be around there, and then maybe it gets to 30 mil. But I don't see it going higher than that, because Kobe, as I said earlier, like if you're not an all-star putting up his numbers or similar numbers, right, and he's not a good defender, he's limited. So he's not going to go out and get the really big bucks. He'll be sub 45 in a playing team. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah. Can Kobe ask for a max next contract? I don't think so. No, you can't. So like, if you're wondering about the contract extension, like, so the Bulls cannot give Kobe White a contract, like a max contract extension. The only way they'd be able to do that is if they cleared enough cap space for this year and the last year of his deal, and they would have to renegotiate his contract to a bigger contract, and then they would be able to give him that max contract extension. However, as I said before, for Kobe, if that this with the way that with everything set up, if he wants the big contract, right, he just has to go into unrestricted free agency, and the Bulls can give it to him there. There's no issues with that. Like there's nothing that's going to stop the Bulls from paying him however much they want to pay him if he's an unrestricted free agent. The risk obviously is that he can leave, right? But if the Bulls are going to be the team that's going to pay him the most, why would he leave? He's just going to pay most. He's just going to be getting paid the most, right, from the Bulls, because they can offer the most years and also offer the most money. So, yeah. Whole difference in win total 9-10 is like 12 games, and Bulls win as 10 Yeah. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping that the season goes right. You trade Zach for actually good stuff somehow. Again, I don't know how that's going to work out. You keep your pick. You stay in the top 7 with your pick. Bulls are looking pretty good with a young new prospect next year, and all the important guys that we want to keep around have taken a jump, right? So, not to me, Kobe is nowhere near that good for such a contract, and if he does play that well, lucky Bulls. Well, okay, remember though, we're talking about in 2026-27, okay? The reason why I'm saying that it's like 25-30 mil, we have to remember that the salary cap is projected, okay? So I'm just going off projections. I'm not saying it is, but the projected salary cap is $170 million, okay? So in theory, that means the salary cap went up an extra 30 million, okay? So when I'm saying that Kobe deserves 25, 28, 30 million a year, we have to remember that it's in projection of the $170 million salary cap, not the 140 that we're currently under, okay? So, I don't know, quick math here. So, what is here? I'll just here, phone calculator. Let's do this. So, if we're gonna go off a $170 million contract, or $170 million salary cap, excuse me. So, 30 divided by 170 is times 100. So it's 17.6 million, or sorry, 17.6%. So 17.6% of 140 million. So basically Kobe White getting a $30 million contract in 2026-27 is the equivalent of him getting a contract of 24.6 right now, right? So that's the reason why, like, we have to keep this in mind, that yes, the number sounds higher, but the percentage of the cap is what's most important, okay? Because like I'm telling you right now, sooner or later, you guys are going to see $400 million contracts. It's coming, okay? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is probably gonna be the first one to get it. But we have to, like, instead of being like, oh my god, it's so much money, it's insane, we have to just go off of how much of it is it of the salary cap, right? So, for example, like Patrick Williams is $18 million this year, is 12.8, but come 2026-27, it's only 10.6, right? That's the reason why it's just important just to talk about this rightly. So sure, it may sound like 30 million, right, for this salary cap for Kobe sounds probably ludicrous, right? But come 2026-27, that's a $24.6 million contract now. So that's the reason why we got to talk about this right. So yeah, I just want to make that clear, because that's the reason why when everyone was talking about Zach LaVine's contract and how, like, oh my god, it's so much money at this moment, I'm like, just wait 2 years. Wait 2 years, and when the first $300 million contract comes in, which it already has, okay, and, you know, we see all the humongous numbers other people are getting, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to look as big. And what do you know? It doesn't look as big right now, right? So, yeah. Sorry, I need to pop out chat because I don't want to look at my second monitor. Okay, 30 million on 176. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there you go. This is Box, like, really helping us out here. Yeah. Bulls might get that contract you said Shea might be the first for, because Bulls like throwing huge contracts around for unknowns. Wait, what tells you that the Bulls are willing to give out big contracts though? The only max contract that the Bulls have ever given out is Zach LaVine, or I guess it's also Derrick Rose, but Zach LaVine was the first ever contract that was past $100 million. If I'm not mistaken, right? Like, the Bulls haven't just given out contracts. Like, they don't just do that. They're pretty stingy when it comes to contracts. So I honestly think the Bulls are always gonna be trying to short end guys. On TCP, what contract recently? Oh, that's what you're saying. But even that's not that bad, right? It's 18 million a year. I'm not happy about the player option. And obviously it seems like a little too much money now. But, like, we're still not talking 100 million though. And I think we can all agree that Kobe and I are a little bit more sure about things. Now, will the Bulls go and send out a contract to maybe some free agent that maybe doesn't deserve it? I can see that for sure. Yeah, maybe you're right about that. But if we're worried about the money, about what Kobe and I are going to be getting, I don't think we really should be worried. Like, yes, 30 million for Kobe per year sounds like a lot, but if the projected cap is $170 million, right, which is 30 million more than this year, I'm not concerned really. So yeah, we just gotta keep that in mind. Zach's contract will be like about 29%. Yeah, so Zach's contract in 2026-27 is 28.8, as you can see right here. This is the reason why I love Spot Track, because they give you, I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, whoops, hold on. Spot Track gives you all the percent. Oh god. So, like, you can see, like, the future stuff of the projected cap. So, like, for Zach, for example, if he picks up his player option, it's 28.8, right? For the following, or for next year though, it's 29.7. So it's a nice thing that Spot Track does for you, because they just automatically just have it up for you. Obviously we have to do some of our own mental math for some other things, but yeah, I like Spot Track a lot for this very reason. All right. I'm more worried about minutes for developing than any contracts at the moment. Oh, I agree. I think that's the first thing we should be worried about for now. And honestly, here's the thing though. Like, I've actually kind of thought about, like, if Zach is also gone, there is like a world if Lonzo is back healthy, like it still is weird. It'll make things easier for sure, but there's just a lot of guys on this roster that need playing time, and so I'm sure someone's gonna get injured, and then we don't have to even worry about it, because that's what happens to the Bulls all the time. All right. I want to say thank you one more time to everybody for coming in tonight. Appreciate everyone checking in. Over 110 different viewers tonight. So I appreciate everyone supporting. Again, one more time, if you have not hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a ton. And if you're like Bulls content, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And I just want to say thank you one more time to everybody. So Bulls take on the Pelicans on Wednesday. I will be doing, at least for now, things planned are, I will be doing the pregame stream and the postgame, and as usual, postgame. So be ready for pregame and postgame. And then we're going to head into the season as the Bulls just we kind of have like every other day except for the Friday, Saturday where we take on the Bucks and the Thunder. So looking forward to the year. Looking forward to guys developing well, hopefully. And we already know, or at least we should know, that the Bulls are going to be playing a lot better and more fun. So I'm excited to see it. The music just randomly stopped, and I don't know why. I'm so sorry. All right. I'll leave you guys there. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I'll see y'all on Wednesday next week. All right. Peace.